Let's see. All right, we're live. Craig LeBlanc here with the Bitcoin Daily, live here with Anders. He is the master party thrower of planet Earth. If you have not been to one of his parties, you are missing out. He is throwing a massive pleb party in Nashville. He's got a lot of great guests coming. He knows how to throw a party. It runs back probably hundreds of years of party throwers and genetics all tied up in Anders. So really love having him. And he's a regular on the Meetup Monday with Kendall on our Bitcoin Daily show. I'm one of 12 hosts that host 8 shows, running 8 to 12 every day for almost 300 days now. So if you're looking for good Bitcoin content every day on X Spaces, we do live audio shows, and we're trying to do more of this video content so we can put it out in both formats. And because he's a regular speaker and other speakers, we want to highlight their life a little bit more, what they're doing, where they came from, where they're going. And so welcome to the show, Anders. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much. I'm doing great. Thank you, Craig. Thanks for having me on. Love talking Bitcoin, love talking parties, and all that good stuff.
So maybe take us back to where you came from, just as a child, where kind of your heritage as far as that's concerned, maybe even your career, and then how that led into what you're doing today.
Absolutely. And to give her something to talk about later, as I told you before we went live, this here, which we call like a bar cabinet in Denmark, which contains glasses, like alcohol and glasses for drinks and stuff, ties in actually with, as you said, the genetics of throwing parties. So maybe we can get back to that, and then there's a little reason to keep watching, yeah, I grew up in Denmark. Lovely parents, great childhood. And then when I was 16, I moved to Australia, where I went to high school for 2 years, and started taking economics. And I remember the school said you should probably not try and take it on higher level, because everyone else here already had economics for years as a subject. So that might be pushing it, but I took it on higher level and got a maximum grade and a diploma from the principal on that, because I don't know, economics, I think that's also what makes Bitcoin relatively straightforward and logical and rational for me to understand. Mm-hmm. I love economics, and that's what I went on to study in university as well. The only argument really I had, again, like, because all of it made sense and was easy and logical for me. But the only debate I had was with my economics tutor, was about inflation, where like this thing about like expanding the monetary supply, like printing more money to get the wheels rolling, was I thought intuitively was very wrong. Like, why do you want to take on debt if you're not doing well? And also, and then I said, like, why are you talking about like measuring the prices and going through all these hoops, and you look at what is the cost of milk and the cost of petrol? If you inflate the money supply by 10%, that's 10% inflation. You got to look at the money supply. Like, that was just first principles thinking. But she was arguing for all these, like, no, we got to measure all these things. And that's today as a Bitcoiner, it's obvious that that's the whole thing. Like, we'll hide the actual inflation of the money supply by doing all these, measuring these different prices, and then people eat the lie, or believe the lie.
Explain that a little for maybe those not familiar, how they can hide the inflation rate by depending on what market goods they fit in the basket. How do they, maybe give an example for people not familiar with that?
Sure. I mean, so they created a basket to measure inflation. They say, this is what people buy. They buy meat, they buy eggs, and gas and rent, but they keep changing this basket So it doesn't look like inflation is as high as it is. And my argument even back then in high school was, why don't you just look at the inflation of the money supply? And the thing is, if you go back 40 years, and it has accelerated now, the inflation of the money supply is more than 7% a year. But they tell us that the inflation is price increases, and that's only like 2% or something, or it used to be before COVID. And they keep changing that basket so that people don't realize how much they're actually being impoverished with a salary going up 2.5% and then inflation going up 2%. Like, are we okay? You're not okay. I don't know if that's beating enough on the inflation horse.
Yeah, well, and one thing I've seen is, rent prices and gas prices have, gas prices have 10x since 1970, and rent prices have gone from 300 or 400 to 3,000 or 4,000 for roughly the same place, but wages have not gone up that far. And so they're just, I think the one thing I've seen is they said, well, Netflix hasn't gone up that much. I'm like, well, it doesn't cost anything to sign someone else up new on Netflix. But steaks, on the other hand, when you have to grow another cow, look at the price of meat and other things that we consume.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of the trickery that I've seen explained mostly on X. I see a lot of people that do a lot of good posts on that very topic that I think is not out there enough among the population. So that's a great point you make. And
Yeah,
so that background kind of gave you a kind of an easier window into Bitcoin, just having that financial economic background.
I mean, I think it just it interested me. Like, there's some things that you're interested in, and then it's not hard to do well in it, right? Because it's just intuitively is what you like, and then I went on to spend 5 years in university in Denmark, also studying economics, because that was just what I liked. And I think all of that probably made it easier to understand Bitcoin. But first I had to get through the hurdle of understanding money, what they call money, the central banking system, fiat currency that's not backed by any assets. How is it created? That's actually complicated. Like, despite I did very well studying economics, but understanding the complexities of what they call money, which is not money, because money, if you look in the dictionary, can store value through time. And obviously the dollar cannot, and no fiat currency can. It's not money. It's a medium of exchange currency. Gold was money because it could store value. Bitcoin is hard money. It's the best money we've ever seen. It not only will store value because it's 100% hard capped, it will go up in value. Bitcoin has experienced deflation since 2009. If you hold Bitcoin and you look around, prices of everything keeps dropping in Bitcoin. Sure, there's an off year where it's not the case, because disruption doesn't happen in a straight line. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about my background, I guess, just having a mind, like liking to, economics and all those topics, microeconomics, macroeconomics, all that good stuff, I always found it fun.
Now, where did you get a lot of your Bitcoin knowledge? Just online, reading books, any type of influencers you'd like to highlight?
Yeah, early on, I was listening to. It's funny because today it would be such a terrible. Like, it's the name is like wouldn't be accepted among Bitcoiners, but World Crypto Network, where especially a guy called Vortex, who unfortunately stopped producing content. He started making music instead. But what a phenomenal person and educator he was, Vortex. He's still on X, but not very active. I also listened a lot to Tone Vays, and from these guys from early on, I got the maximalist mindset, understanding that everything else is a scam, and just focusing on Bitcoin. So YouTube was Adam Meister. I was listening to him as well. YouTube was my main education of Bitcoin early on. Starting in 2016 and into 17 and 18. And then after a while, after years of, spending thousands of hours just consuming everything you can on Bitcoin, you realize that almost like every time you start a new podcast, like maybe 2-3% is going to be new knowledge, but Everything else, you already heard it before. And also just realized it's the same reason I don't spend a lot of time listening to speakers at conferences. Is like none of it can make me more bullish on Bitcoin or make me go all in. I already did go all in. I don't have anything else, than Bitcoin. That doesn't mean I have enough. I don't have enough. I bought too late. It was too expensive. All of these things, but none of it can make me more bullish. So I'm just,
Yeah. And I agree. I'm kind of at the point to where I've sold everything I can possibly sell and not nailed down. I've gotten out of all of my other assets. I'm 100% into Bitcoin. And now I think I'm in the creator stage where I want to be part of the movement. I want to be part of the solution. I want to be part of getting the word out. I think I'm part of the builder community. And that's kind of what I'd like to help highlight is, we all have our own gifts. Some of us are talkers, some of us are writers, some of us are bloggers, some of us are party throwers. And I want to just highlight the doers of the Bitcoin community because we need more of them. And you're one of our all-stars that I'd like, man, we need a lot more guys like you building what you're building because that's what it's going to take. So maybe where did that come? Maybe go back into what you chose to contribute to Bitcoin is so unique. So maybe give us a story behind that.
I mean, it came well, I mean, maybe before going to that, because I remember, I mean, you did write like things about like, the past and everything. So
Sure.
Just want to mention that in 2017, I started doing some videos on YouTube, and then my life got busy. I had, things to go through. So I stopped, and then I met Poppy, and we became friends over the phone in 2019, I think January. And I told him, I want to restart my YouTube channel. We're having great conversations on the phone. Why don't we just like start doing that on YouTube? And maybe some people will find it, useful. And they did. So we had a lot of fun on YouTube for 1 year with Toxic Happy Hour. Started in the summer of 2020. And then that became Spaces, Puppy Love Spaces. I'm a little bit burned out on Spaces, so I'm actually going back to YouTube. I started going back to YouTube. That's another story. I'll tell you what my focus in there. But your question was on the parties, right? Well, how that happened. Okay, so I mean, I always been social and loving to throw a good house party or something, but never really did it bigger than that. And then first time I went to a Bitcoin conference was in Miami in 21. Me and Puppy and other friends went to the plug party that John Cheneau and his friend Jason put together. And we thought that was really cool because there's all these VIP parties that you don't get invited to if you're a Bitcoin pleb, right? But hey, we got our own party. We got the pleb party. So I love that. That was fun. And what I've been trying to do since then is to create a pleb party that everyone can go to, but I want to make it cooler and better and more fun than the VIP parties. And honestly, I do think I have succeeded with that. The first one in LA, in Los Angeles in November 2022 was great. It got so much good feedback, had a lot of big names rolling in, like Jeff Booth, Larry Lepard, Mark Moss, Callan Walker, the crypto couple, Natalie, like James Lavish, like so many, right? And just the pleb army. So it was a great time. And the feedback I got from people was they actually, like after the conference, they told me, "Oh, Anders, thank you for organizing the pleb party because it actually made the conference itself better for me. Because when I went to the conference, now I knew all these people. I had new friends, new connections, new network, and I didn't even think about that. I just wanted to have a good time. But originally, I intended just to, because I had a good time in Miami at the pleb party, find a random bar in Los Angeles, so we could meet the night before Pacific Bitcoin conference was launched. And it was a little bit more tricky than I had anticipated because I just did it as a free thing on my meetup page. I started a Bitcoin meetup in Los Angeles in 2017 as well. That's when I wanted to get into also educating people. I had more than 500 members in that meetup in the time of 2022. And so I put it up just as a free to attend meetup, this pleb party. And I thought all bars for sure will be super happy if I say, hey, I got 400 people coming. Do you want to give us some space? You guys are going to sell a lot of beers that night. And all of them were like, we can do that, but now you got to put down your credit card to ensure a certain spend. And I was new at this. I'm thinking, I'm not selling tickets. Like, how that's, I'm going to put down my credit card for like 30,000. Like, I'm not getting anything, so I ended up with this really cool bar in Venice, it's really awesome. I love it. And we had a great time there. It was a great venue. And then some of those guys, some of those big names, Larry Lepard and others, they actually chipped in. So it ended up like breaking even almost because of that. But otherwise, we lost money because they demanded that to make it exclusive, a buyout, a certain amount of bar spend. And I thought, well, Bitcoiners will buy drinks and it'll be fine, but they didn't buy that many drinks. So, we were down more than 3,000 because people just didn't buy those drinks. So that's why I realized, okay, if you want to do this, and also, by the way, put a lot of hours into, organizing a cool thing to attend, you need to charge a ticket. Otherwise, it's just really hard, And I already did a lot of, free work, just, doing YouTube and spaces and trying to, educate people. And that allowed me to get a really, really cool venue in Miami last year. It was a rooftop. It was on South Beach. People told me beforehand, like, forget about South Beach, it's too expensive. But I got a super cool rooftop. And it was rooftop cinema. So I decided to take a lot of the cool video memes from Twitter that we're all laughing about, and good music gets the spirit going, and just like make it into like a 1 hour reel and just ran it on repeat on the evening on the video screen. So that was a lot of fun. So I guess I just it came from wanting to just get everyone together and have a laugh, to getting good feedback, and then just kind of rolling with it. It was never really the plan to make it a thing or anything, but people loved it. And I realized because both of those two previous, I make them as I want to have them. Like, I make the party so I know I'm going to have a good time. Like, this is how I would want to, this is the type of party I would attend. And then it turns out to be, it works for people, and, I have a good time. And then, the next one is in Nashville next Thursday, July 25th. And by the way, people can buy their tickets if they go to plebpartynashville.com, or just search for the Pleb Party on Google, Pleb Party Nashville. It'll come up, and then it's on Eventbrite where you can get your ticket. And everything is almost wrapped up and ready. And at this point, I'm just so looking forward to it, because both of those two previous parties, I think I am in a better mood and more high and enjoying more than anyone doing any drugs that evening. Like, it's just a natural high to host a party that people enjoy. Mm-hmm. And they give you feedback, and, they say thank you. And it's just nice, So I'm just looking forward to next Thursday and having a blast. It's going to be 12 hours with free drinks. So, I mean, yes, the ticket is more expensive this time, but you get 12 hours of free drinks and food. Lunch is there, dinner is there. Great, awesome venue. So yeah.
And where does it? You said it starts at noon and goes to midnight, or what time does it go from when to when?
Yeah, from noon to midnight. I mean, that's a long time to be able to hang out with your friends, get a drink, be happy, get some food. And what I learned since the first conference I went to was what was in it for me, what I enjoyed the most was not necessarily the speakers. There's great speakers, no doubt. I love to see some of them. but it was about hanging out with my friends and have a drink and, have a laugh, like the people we know from X that, we meet that, once or twice a year at the conference. That's what it's all about for me. It always was. Well, always the 3 years I've gone to conferences. And so that's what I provide with a party. It's like, to me, what is the best part of the conference is just the social aspect. And that's why I can pull it off as a one-person organization, really. Gotten some help, definitely. Kendall's been very helpful, looking for venues with me, which was awesome. Other people have chipped in, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of like putting together what is the second largest Bitcoin only event in North America, one person. And that's because I don't have all the speaker, like, organization, all that stuff. It's just a good party. It's just a good time.
Right. Yeah, and that's there's something to be said about just throwing a simple event where people just come and socially hang out together. And I think that's something that I'm glad you're doing, because sometimes you just get like information overwhelmed with all the booths and the speakers, and it's almost like you get dizzy with what could be attended and information being thrown at you.
Yeah.
And at the end, you look like, man, I attended this group, this event with all these Bitcoiners, and I didn't meet many Bitcoiners. I was so busy attending the events. It's kind of like going to the movies with your friend. You don't really hang out. You're just watching a movie together versus going and socially just hanging out. So I'm so glad you're throwing this party, because I think that connection is so important, to actually meet the fellow Bitcoiners face to face and socialize with them. That this is probably one of the better events I would recommend attending while you're in Nashville.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm planning for it to be the one party that you don't want to miss, and the track record so far has been that people thoroughly enjoyed it, and including myself.
Right.
So and so sorry.
Do you find it's getting any easier party after party, as far as you're learning more lessons?
I'm definitely learning for each one. It's funny, you learn something each time, of course. And there's always something that you're pulling your hair out, but you make sure that, like, no one ever experienced that, right? Everyone just enjoys the party and everything is fine. But there's always stuff, and it's if you're doing a conference, if you're throwing a party, there's always stuff that is a little bit more tricky behind the scenes than luckily, people get to experience. So that's and in this one in particular, going from last party in Miami was 7 hours with, nothing including in the ticket. You could buy your food, you can buy your alcohol, to 12 hours, including lunch and dinner and an open bar. It does complicate things a little bit more. Also, although that's not been complicated, but I have 4 different like Bitcoin friends, vendors, that, like, one guy's, because I have the space and I have a couple of tables I can set up. So one guy's he's selling Bitcoin, a Monopoly. There is Bitcoin trading cards. If you know BTC trading cards, Aladdin and that whole crew, which is a fun group of people, like, they're awesome to hang out with. So and very nicely of Aladdin, he made a card for me, which of course is a big honor to be part of, like, Bitcoin history there a little bit. And 2 more, I can't even remember now. But 4 in total are gonna be there. So just, there's just many elements to it that has also made, obviously, the ticket more expensive, because you can drink as much as you can for 12 hours. So I'll see the experiences from this one, and then based on a lot of learning from this one, see what I'm going to do for the next one. But I enjoy putting it together. I love looking for a venue. Go half a year in advance. I went like 4 months in advance to Miami, had a week, had a great time just looking for venues. Like the pressure's on, because I'm already selling tickets. Like, now you got to find a place, and it's got to be cool, because you want to give a good experience. And the same with you. End of February, I went to Nashville, and now I know Nashville a little bit. I walked streets of Nashville, so I have that when I go there for the conference. Also got a conference ticket, so I'll look forward to Friday and Saturday as well.
Yeah, it ought to be a great convention. I think David's doing a good job. Just growing the brand, growing the Bitcoin community, putting on good events. And Nashville, man, you can't pick a better city to host a Bitcoin event. It's a super strong community. How was maybe give people a little insight into what your thoughts on Nashville as a hosting city since you walk the streets?
Yeah, so I know it's going to be warm, right, in summer. Because first I was thinking, oh, rooftop in Miami, that was super cool, that was awesome, and I was thinking, let me do something like that in Nashville. And then someone told me it's way too hot, you need AC, so we went inside. Um, I think Nashville is the second largest bachelorette or whatever you guys call it, a city
Yeah,
in the US. So a lot of people come there to party. It's I think it's a great city. From what I know, to host a conference, there's a lot of stuff going on. Like all the bars on Broadway, they have, all of them have live music because it's the music capital, right? So it's a lively city with and any city I go to outside of LA is cheaper than LA. So I always love that. It's like, oh, wow, you can get a burger for that,
right.
So I got an Airbnb with there's a pool there and stuff as well. So I'm going to enjoy the good weather.
Yeah. Yeah. We got a really nice Airbnb as well. Sleeps 12. We got a bunch of Louisiana boys all
Nice.
popping in, a good rooftop. And it is just a gorgeous city. If you've never been to Nashville, you're in for a treat. It's in my opinion, it's one of the best cities in America, one of the fastest growing. And I'm so glad they chose it as a city to host. I don't know what their next city is. I'm sure they'll announce. I haven't heard anything as to what city's coming in next
They might,
year.
I mean, they did Miami 3 years. They might do Nashville again, right?
Yeah,
Um,
it's a great city for sure.
Yeah, and I agree with you. Like that, I got a great impression. It's a very exciting city. Bitcoin Park is there. That's going to be awesome to see that. That's good for the local community.
Right.
So yeah, I think Nashville is a great thing. But if I should just touch on, because now I mentioned it earlier, this
Sure.
one. So you
Yeah.
spoke about the genetics of throwing parties. So I only first ever did like a public sort of party, in my late 40s when I did the 2020 LA Pleb party. After my grandfather passed away, I met one of his old friends, and then I learned, because I said, "Tell me some stories. Tell me the stories about my grandfather that I don't know." And I learned that this club he helped establish, that he and some of his friends, they did these 12-hour parties for the whole club. Like they arranged it, and everyone had a blast for 12 hours. And that kind of inspired me. And I thought, if he threw 12-hour parties, let me do that as well. And this here in Denmark is what's considered like you put in, the alcohol in your glasses for the alcohol. And he was a carpenter. He built this. He made that one for me. So that's a little reminder of the
Fantastic.
guy who made that was the guy. It was my grandfather who put the 12-hour parties in my mind, because apparently he was a party throwing legend. I mean, in my world, he was, a legend, but apparently also he was well known for the parties he threw with his friends. So
That's right. You have to live up to the family name now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are there any highlights from any of the past pleb parties that you've had or wanted to talk about, or some things that
Sure.
were surprising to you?
Well, LA was just overall, I think, well, it was the first, but it was just a great experience. What I learned was people don't like, I like that, with a DJ and dance floor, and that's fun. But so I had that the last 3 hours of LA, but afterwards people were telling me like, Anders, it's too loud music. We just want to talk. So at a Bitcoin pleb party, Bitcoiners just want to talk with their friends. They don't want entertainment. They don't want. We want music, but not loud music. So okay. I mean, and the fun thing in Miami was that, like, long story, it was like me, Puppy, and Surfer together tried to triangulate Sailor to come to the pleb party. It started with me meeting Sailor at a mansion party that Swan threw after the first Pacific Bitcoin conference. And so I had my own company in Dubai. You asked about my career. I've worked in online marketing my entire career until I discovered Bitcoin, and then I lost all interest in online marketing. But my experience from having my own company with a bunch of employees is you're no longer part of the team. No one gives you abandon. No one gives you a hard time, because everyone want to make sure they don't get on your bad side. Everyone's, patting your back, and it's annoying not to get the critique and stuff. And the banter is missing. So, and I'm thinking, okay, guys like Corey at Swan or Michael Saylor, top of a giant organization, they're not used to getting the banter. So I thought, let me go up and throw some punches. Some banter, you know what I mean, at Sailor, because I guess I hope he'll enjoy it. So I went up to Sailor and then I said, "Hey, Sailor man, I love everything that you do, but why didn't you show up to my pleb party?" And then he actually started explaining. And he's like, I had to go to the VIP party. There's this dinner and this and that, and I'm just thinking to myself, like, bro, you never heard about it. You don't know who I am. Like, it's okay. You didn't have, I'm just joking. But nevertheless, and then Surfer Jim was involved as well, because he was standing there next to him, and Puppy as well. And we ended up with Michael Saylor turning up at the pleb party in Miami. And that's awesome, because some plebs, he got there early, he left early, but he was there when there was not a lot of people. So the people that came early got to hang out and talk to Sailor, which is awesome. And the two previous parties, and the same is going to be the case at this one, through the friendships we got with some of these big names from having them on our YouTube channel back when Toxic Happier, we did YouTube, and you have guests on, and you befriend them, and then they come to the party, and people enjoy that. Guys like Jeff Booth and Larry Lepard and James Lavish, Natalie Brunell, people that are hard to get hold of at the conference itself, because there's 50,000 people. If you meet them at a smaller gathering like a pleb party, you can actually, say cheers, have a beer with them, and have a conversation, which you can't really otherwise. It's hard, right? So that's something I'm trying to make a part of the experience, that you get to hang out with your Bitcoin friends, but also get to talk to some of the people that you admire, Yeah. And so there is no guarantee, and I can't use Sailor's name for, promoting Nashville, but I emceed PDC Prague, which is the largest Bitcoin only event in Europe. I was down there in June. I was emceeing main stage when Michael Saylor was going on. So I got to introduce Michael Saylor.
I saw that. I listened to it.
Oh yeah.
I saw you there.
Thank you, man. That was the highlight for me for sure on the MC career, to get introduced to what to me is the biggest name in Bitcoin, without a doubt, right? So we're standing there before me going up and introducing him, and you're chit-chatting. And I said, "Hey, Sailor, I just want you to know that a lot of people, including me, want to thank you for showing up and hanging out with the plebs in Miami. That was nice of you, and we appreciated it." And I asked him, are you speaking in Nashville? And he said he was. I said, "Well, I'm doing another pleb party in Nashville, July 25. Would you like to attend?" And he said, "Yes." And I said, how are you? How do you want me to give you the information? And he said, "DM me." So he said he would come. I've DM'd him his information, but he doesn't follow me. So I don't know if he got the details. I don't know if he'll show up, but if he did, it would be cool. I'm also speaking a little bit to Eric Weiss, which is the guy that actually orange pill sailor. And so I've given him the information as well, but I don't think we didn't know if he was showing up in Miami. I don't know if he's showing up now. If he does, it would be really cool.
Right.
But I can't know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. That's you do the best you can, and then you just let the chips fall where they may. You're going to have a great event no matter what. And you've got a lot of big names coming, and
maybe I should mention that just like a few, like Larry Lepard, Preston Pish, James Lavish, Mark Moss, Natalie Brunell, the entire Simply Bitcoin crew, and a bunch of other people. And I can't remember everyone, but there's going to be also, people that we know.
I'm interviewing one of the Simply Bitcoin guys, and then I had Rob Wallace on today. Actually, he's with BitcoinNews.com. He's going to be there. I mean, there's just so many good things happening in Nashville and in the Bitcoin community. So it is going to be a packed house from top to bottom every event. And so I know your event's going to be super exciting. I can't wait to attend.
Thank you, man.
I will definitely be there. Looking forward to it. I'll actually be there on Tuesday. I'm visiting some friends there, and then strolling on it. But
I'm coming in Monday night. I'm in Denmark right now. I'm flying from Denmark to Nashville on Monday, arriving Monday night, and I also need to get a little bit into the time zone, and so I don't have too much jet lag when I need to party for 12 hours.
Right.
3 days later, which I will do. Absolutely.
Right.
Can't wait.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. All right. So so tell me about your future. What is this?
Right.
Is this your full-time gig, or would you like it to be, or what's your goal?
Oh yeah, that would
out 5-10 years from now. Where do you want to be?
Right. So I mean, that would be fun if the plug parties was my full-time gigs. There is not a lot of money. Like people may think so, but it's expensive to put together. But what I started doing this spring is the second reliving or comeback on the YouTube channel. So I started in 2017. In 2020 was the first YouTube comeback where we started doing Toxic Happier, and now I started the second comeback this spring on my YouTube channel that I call Two Christians Walk Into a Bar. And as you know, Craig, I became a Christian last year, and I see a big problem for Christians using fiat currency, and I need to explain to them why they are financing evil by using fiat currency. When you use the dollar, you are allowing evil people to steal from you every single day, and you're also enabling, like you're endorsing that as a currency, so you're helping create the network effect of everyone else doing it. And that's breaking the commandments, because that is straight up theft. A fiat currency is theft because they keep printing more and stealing value from you. I know they also control the media, so they tell people like, the way we can keep you in a job is by printing more money and diluting the money supply, and you get to keep your job. But guess what? Before the Federal Reserve, people also had jobs in the US. In fact, productivity grew faster before we even got to this stage with computers and internet and everything, but because we were on a goal, like a sound money standard, a gold standard. Fiat currency destroys everything. Fiat currency is theft on the grandest scale. It's unfortunately been legalized by law by allowing central banks, and Christians need to understand that they are financing evil and assisting Satan's work, in my opinion, when they're doing that. And that's why they need to start saving in Bitcoin instead of fiat currency. So that is actually the most important thing. Now, I haven't done a lot of videos there because Nashville has this party next Thursday has consumed a lot of my bandwidth, putting that together one person. But once Nashville is over, I'm going to have a great week in Nashville, the conference and everything. I get back to LA, I'm going to start pumping out some more videos there with content for Christians and educating them on why they got to stop using the dollar and start saving in Bitcoin. It's your Christian duty.
Yeah, it absolutely is. And and I had a great talk with Sid, Captain Sid. He's
Mhm.
uh, he's a Bitcoiner in Thailand. He's got a great story. Also, there was a guy from Satlantis, and these are two. Well, Satlantis for sure. Jason is a good Christian. You could tell he's got those Christian roots, and I just feel like Bitcoin really is kind of God's money. If there were a money that were fair and that prevented theft just by its very nature, it prevents theft. I can't think of a better currency for people that want to stop theft dead in its tracks. Not to mention all the wars and stuff that are funded by fiat currency that would no longer, if you want to defund war, that's the way to do it. You're not asking for permission. You're just no longer allowing them to dilute your property to go fund that stuff. So it gives you a lot more say so over what your hard work funds. That's a great message, man. Anything I can do to help you launch that channel or give you airtime or whatever as my channel grows, please feel free to let's do something together because I would love to see that channel explode.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate that. I'm sure we'll work something out, Craig. And we can help each other. That would be awesome. I need to get back to LA so I can start doing those videos. But yeah, that's very important for me. And I want to say amen to what you said about God's money, because I see Bitcoin as the sword of God being driven into the heart of evil. And I mean, it's so beautiful and perfect, and that it really just looked messianic and divine. Imagine the most powerful and important revolution ever in mankind's history is peaceful. It's Bitcoin. It is replacing evil fiat currency that, as you said, funds war and allows theft on a daily basis to hard money standard. Like, this so important. It's going to completely change everything on planet Earth. We're going into a new human renaissance with Bitcoin. Like, I know people may not like see it or believe it. That's going to happen. That's going to happen this century for sure. I'm very optimistic for the future of mankind, and all of that is without shedding a drop of blood. Right? It's I mean, if anyone, that looks like God's work right there. I mean, it's just so perfect and powerful, but no one dies from it. On the contrary, right?
Yeah. What a powerful message. And I'll echo that. And for anyone listening, Anders and the rest of the Bitcoin community did not come to this conclusion because we weren't steeped in the opposite, in the fiat world. We actually probably approached Bitcoin with a sense of skepticism and disbelief and had to really work our way out of that. And we had to destroy a lot of preconceived notions, a lot of limiting beliefs. And it was only through hard work and a lot of study. So I just don't want you to think that a lot of Bitcoiners are blindly believing in something they don't understand. We all had to learn the hard way what we're looking at. And I can't tell you how well researched most of the Bitcoiners are that I've come across. These people aren't just spouting out, this is perfected money and can't back it up with the research they've done over many years. That this is something that we've dug deep into and had to admit that, at least for me, that I was wrong on so many areas of business, of finance, of government. I can't believe how many things this has proved wrong in my studies. I don't know. Have you had the same experience or similar experience?
Yeah. I mean, it touches everything, right? If that's what you're saying.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, it certainly does. Um, so where can we do to kind of help you out aside from attend the party or maybe help
yeah.
with the YouTube channel? What can we do to find you? And
Yeah, that would be great. Come have fun at the pleb party, plebpartynashville.com, or if you search on Google, it's right up there. Obviously, you buy your ticket on Eventbrite. Otherwise, yeah, I mean, so I put also my X handle down there at Anders underscore. So when I do YouTube videos, I'll post it out there as well. You'll be able to find, the channel to subscribe. That's something I that is my calling. So it's something I got to take very serious and start doing at volume, several videos every week. It's important, in my opinion.
Yeah, you got to get in the reps, man. There's no other way to do it.
If there's anywhere to look to be inspired for the reps, it's the Bitcoin Daily Show. You guys are nuts.
We do put in the reps. I think we're going on 300, like I said, 280 straight shows, 2 hours a day. Man, talk about you get good at live content. And even these interviews, I'm doing 1 to 3 a day. And the pace at which you learn when you just put in reps, and how every time, each rep, you find some little trick, something to go better, that 1% improvement. I'd rather make 1% improvement twice a day than once a week. And that's one thing I love about the Bitcoiners. They put in the work. And so a lot of you guys have inspired me to just go for it and don't hold back and produce something beautiful. And I encourage anybody out there listening to do the same. Well, look, man, it's been a pleasure interviewing you. I'd love to do this again, especially kind of a Nashville wrap up. We can talk about how it went and and then maybe help you launch your channel when you get settled back in LA. And maybe we'll talk about that.
I'd love that. And thank you so much for having me on and giving me an opportunity to tell people about the pleb party. I hope a lot of people show up, because the more the merrier. It's going to be a ball. So yeah, thank you very much, man, for having me on. And let's talk about the Christian content once I get back to LA, which will be after Nashville.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. This time next week we'll be 4 hours into Anders' party, so can't wait.
It's only 1 week ahead. 1 week.
That's it. We'll see you next week.
All right, Craig. Thanks a lot, man, for having me.
Take care.
Take care.
All right. So that was Anders. He is the master party thrower of the Bitcoin community. He throws fantastic parties for the plebs. So if you're looking to just really connect with Bitcoiners in person at a 12-hour party, drinks and food included, get your tickets. They're not sold out, but I'm sure you've only got 1 week left. I don't know if they'll even have space at the door. Help the Bitcoin community really connect. I know, like he said, at the convention, it's so busy. It's really hard to connect with people, especially some of the people that are speaking on stage. But you're going to have a lot of good people at Anders' party. And then let's start looking for his Christian content around Bitcoin channel afterwards. I'd love to support that. And so anything y'all can do to help Anders out, he's one of our all-stars with the Bitcoin community. Again, I'm Craig LeBlanc, one of 12 hosts with the Bitcoin Daily, 8 to 10 every day. James does a show on Saturday, 10 to 12. Never missing a day. Great content each morning. Please come up to stage, ask a question. It's all live content, so anybody can come on X, on any of the shows, ask a question about Bitcoin, or a lot of these shows have specific content around content creation, around 101, around meetups, around energy and mining, around finance. James does his show on Bitcoin at the Frontier, which is the circular economies. We've got my show on philosophy, and I'm trying to think if I missed anyone. Tracy and Hector's do Bitcoin is Life. So these are a lot of people that just make Bitcoin their life. Again, so and if you want to pitch in, if you're looking for someplace you can help, please DM me. You're welcome to join the Bitcoin Daily team, help out behind the scenes. You don't necessarily have to be one of the speakers. We've also got guys like Mars that are producing fantastic memes for the community. He's doing a great job. I love his stuff. And so it really is a team effort at the Bitcoin Daily. We're looking to grow our team. We've got a lot of very talented people, and we want to give as many Bitcoiners an opportunity to come create under the Bitcoin Daily brand and to help us bring Bitcoin to the masses and bring Bitcoin creators and just content creators in general into the content creation space. So appreciate all the work everybody's doing to contribute. Love all the love and support. It's overwhelming from the community about what we're doing. So thank y'all for that. And I hope to see y'all in Nashville. I will be hanging out with fellow Bitcoin Daily people at the Bitcoin meetup table. So if you are a Bitcoin meetup organizer, and or if you're a wannabe organizer, you're thinking about it. And what I mean is you want to organize an in-person event in your city about Bitcoin. And let's say you don't have one, or you want to attend one, you're just looking to meet others. There will be like 80 of us that are Bitcoin meetup organizers at in Nashville inside the conference. Also, if you're not attending the conference, but you're attending outside events, and let's say you're going to be in Nashville, hit me up in the DMs. I'd love to meet with y'all, meet y'all in person, and just say hello and put a name to the face. So again, Craig LeBlanc with the Bitcoin Daily Show. Y'all have an awesome day, and we will see y'all tomorrow, 8 a.m. sharp Eastern on X. Thanks a lot.